Good afternoon and welcome to Spotlight, brought to you by the Georgetown NAACP Branch number 5520. Mental health is our topic today. We got a special event we're bringing to you live, and we got a lot to talk about, folks, because there's a lot going on in our community and without the community dealing with mental health and not dealing with mental health. We're excited to share this with you. We're excited to be a solution for our community, and we'll learn more right after this. Well, we're back, folks. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to bring in our co-host, President Deontay Winchester. Good afternoon, Deontay.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, we started this afternoon. We got a special event. It's dealing with mental health out at Walmart in Georgetown. But we want to talk about mental health a little bit today about there's a lot going on in the community and outside of the community, and it all impacts us as individuals and as a community. Just this week, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, his image is a strong blue collar guy, and I applaud him because he checked himself into the hospital. This is the second time. The first time he was lightheaded, they cleared him physically. Then a couple of days later, he checked himself in the hospital because he's suffering from depression. And that's a wonderful thing, showing that we if you recognize you're depressed, if you recognize that you're suffering from anxiety, get help. Get help, because in the long run, it's going to benefit you and your loved ones in your communities. And of course, we are still dealing with the Tyree Nichols fallout, the constant killing of Black men, unfortunately, by some bad law enforcement. It's a mental health drain on our community. Recent murder suicides. There was a Black family in the last 2 months. There was a murder suicide in Greensboro, North Carolina, and just dealing with racism on a daily basis. It's just got to be a mental health crisis, and I think we need to talk about it more. Deontay, I know that that's your background, your profession, and helping our young folks deal with some challenges they may be facing. What are your thoughts before we go to this live event at Walmart? Oop,
Well,
there you go.
it's specifically with our young people and dealing with COVID. The long-term mental health effects of COVID are just now coming to light. COVID, the whole pandemic was a dark time for everyone. But it was especially worse for some people. It didn't just interrupt some of our lives, but it was also a physical tragedy for some, and some of us lost loved ones. So when these things happen, it can amplify deep despair, anxiety, mental health, and things that individuals were already struggling with, but they are now becoming exacerbated. Um, in fact, a recent poll conducted by the National Action Alliance for Suicide Prevention um, actually revealed that nearly 90% of Americans now feel that suicide prevention should be a top priority for all healthcare professionals and especially in schools as well. So that tells you where we are as a nation and where we are, as a society where suicide is not only something that happens often, but it's something that's on our mind so much that 90% of Americans feel that it should be a priority. So do check in on your loved ones, even the strong ones. A lot of times, the ones that are always there for everyone else are the ones that are suffering in silence. So let them know that you love them, let them know that you care for them, and we'll check in with our event. And when we come back, I'll have a little bit of tips for you.
All right, very good. Let's go ahead and bring Ebony and Marvin in. Ebony, Marvin, hey, how y'all doing? You're muted. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're here. Hopefully, you're able to hear me, but we're here at Walmart in Georgetown. You can see here in the back. They have a stage set up. This is the first annual cultural event that they're having right here at Walmart. And later on in the show, I can kind of take you to see some vendors. But they have different people performing. They have John Smalls, who just played the drums. They are going to have Steve Williams, who's an author, historian, and a member, an executive member of the NAACP here in Georgetown. And he's going to be talking and doing a poem about mental health. And he had just gotten some shocking news from the CDC and other organizations about suicide rates have increased so much here. And this is, of course, Black History Month.
Today we
so they're
have with
here
us at this time,
bringing all these things to light, the good, the bad, and all the things that we need to address in our community. So also Mr. Neal is here. And he can step in
our own way. Let's give it up for Ms. Ruth Grayson. Thank you.
So is the event, Ebony, a Black History event with mental health elements, and Steve is going to do a poem about mental health?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. He hasn't gotten to that point in the program. They have different people. They also have, I think, Miss Glenda Presley, who is a Gullah Geechee
storyteller. Yeah, she's wonderful. Glenda Presley is wonderful.
Exactly. And there's a lady here now. She's doing a story now, so I don't want to be too loud. But you can bring me back in if you need to, or even ask some questions. But they're performing actually while we're here.
Very good. I think it's so important. We talk about knowing from whence you come. And I really think it's so important that we know who we are, which includes our ancestors. Our ancestors speaking to us, knowing who you are goes a long way towards having positive mental health. And we don't think about it when we're out there. We're thinking just learning history. But the context of it is it informs you of who you are via your ancestors. And it's great that Steve is taking this time to do a poem about mental health because Ebony, I like to say there's a thread that ties everything together. And there really is. And I think that's a personal journey we've all been on. That allows us to do what we do within the realm of the NAACP, social justice, civil rights, but also go out there and promote events. I see Marvin peeking over your shoulder. That seems to be what he does very well, peeking over people's shoulders and stuff. But Marvin, any thoughts while you're out there? Share some thoughts with us.
Marilyn, this is off the chain. Expected. But it's so good out there. The turnout is just people are steady coming and just celebrating this time of the year, for not just African American, but bringing everything back together, uniting, a broken country and stuff. But just broken. That's what we're doing today. The village, that's what they do and stuff. And I'm a part of them and stuff. We're part of the advisory board, just help bringing agriculture and stuff of that nature and cultural awareness back into the community in the western side of Georgetown, really. So it's a great chance, it's a great opportunity here. We have the Walmart manager here, Trina. She's out there very inviting. She's a retired military serviceman also. You have Steve Williams out here and Gab News. And, some of everyone is out here. Just a great turnout. There'll be some great activities out here today. We have Ruth Grayson. She's singing now, Wade in the Water, which is one of the Negro gospels that really led a lot of us. We talk about the Gullah Geechee Seafood Trail, but that was one of the songs that really led them, into different directions that they need to go. It's just a song that they sung that's so special to the historical awareness of African Americans.
Yeah. Definitely. The water and the waterways and the seafood is all tied together. How long is this program going to be happening out there?
We'll be here until about 2 o'clock, 2:30, maybe longer, because getting events like this and things just start happening. And there's so much that they're going to do today. They have the African drummers and just different folks. Great turnout, vendors. Jackie Williams, Alicia Matthews, all of them out here with their product lines and stuff. People are really gathering and gravitating to. We have goats out here, animals, miniature goats and stuff. Just what we do.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad
Did
to
he
hear
say
that.
community goats?
He said we have goats out here. Are they community goats?
Well, Deontay is a goat. You know, he's a goat. You know?
The community goats. Does that mean is that mean Bruno is out there? Is Bruno out there?
I'm not sure.
I met Bruno the goat yesterday at Alicia at Kidogo Farm. So, don't hate on Bruno. Oh, y'all do have it's a beautiful day to be out there and go out there and learn more about Black history and go meet the community goats. Hopefully Bruno is out there. Bruno's cute. Oh, artwork. Very good. Very good. There's a program at Andrews tonight also at 6 p.m. I've got to call the mayor and find out where it is so we can make sure that folks go and support Andrews also. Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful day going out to Walmart. Learn some Black history, folks. Learn about who you are, and let's talk about mental health. Deontay, any thoughts that you have regarding the program? And just, obviously, I always love to state my opinion about knowing who you are, knowing your history. Any thoughts you want to share with us?
Oh, my goodness. That's a great event they have going on there. Just focusing on mental health in general is something right now that we need so badly in our nation and in our community, specifically the Black community, because for so long it's been taboo. We don't, as a community, feel like we need to seek mental health treatment. And I'm not saying this as a joke, but we feel like we can pray our mental health away, and that's just simply not the way it works. Seek advisement from your minister, but also get mental health treatment from a professional if you need those services. But if you can, and if you're in the area, go out there and join that event. Get that culture, see those vendors, and just have a good time in the community. After COVID, we're able to get out, we're able to mingle a little bit more, have some fun, man. Get out there and do something. Because we were in the house for so long.
That's right.
It's time.
Get out in the sun. Vitamin D is a real thing. I'm taking medicine now for my vitamin D, and I'm going to head out there also and join them. But you brought up mental health and seeking help. Deontay, while we have Ebony here also, what if you don't have insurance and you don't have mental health covered? What are some options? What can you do, Deontay, to seek that help?
Well,
is that question for me?
The biggest
it's for both of you, but we'll start with Deontay.
Well, if you're not in a position where you can seek professional help, the first thing that you can do on your own is practice self-care. And when we say self-care, we mean taking care of both your body and your mind. Take care of your body in the aspect of just being mindful of your physical health. First and foremost, enough sleep. A lot of people take that for granted. Go to bed at the same time every day and try your best to stick with that routine. Participate in regular physical activities. This can actually help you to reduce your levels of anxiety and even depression. Eat healthy. Choose a well-balanced diet. I don't know what that is, Mr. Neil sipping like that, but it ain't orange juice.
Yeah, that's not a good example. That's not a good role model right there.
And that brings me to this tip: avoid tobacco, alcohol, and drugs, as these things can actually exacerbate levels of stress and anxiety. Limit your screen time.
Hey, bro.
You don't want to sit down on social media and watch TV all day.
Hello,
Let's hear
Elder
word.
Drayton. Good to see you, Elder Drayton. I'm going to be out there in a little while.
Okay,
How are
that
you
sounds
doing
great.
today?
Doing exceptionally well. We thank God for another opportunity to witness Black history in such a bold way. We're not locked down in one room. We're not trying to hide ourselves. We are proud to be who we are. We are proud of our heritage. And we want the world to know who we are and what we are trying to do. Thank God for what you're doing. Thank God for this day. He has blessed us with a beautiful day. And my friend and my brother, and I always say, he ain't scared. God bless you. Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Elder Drayton. Thank you for the
Okay,
words. We
thank you
always
so much.
appreciate you sharing with us. And enjoy
Certainly.
yourself out there.
I will. Thank you.
All right,
God bless.
very
Thank
good.
you.
So Deonta, as you were saying regarding self-care, starting there. There's Jackie Williams.
We also want to limit our screen time. We don't want to sit in front of social media or television, or for kids, video games for extended periods of time. And especially right before bedtime, because this can actually decrease the likelihood of us getting, hey, Miss Jackie, getting into that REM sleep within a reasonable amount of time. And then,
You know about my good friend Janine,
just
who's working in a
find a way
house
just to relax
and
and
had to
recharge.
do
What that is for you. For me, I like going to the beach. I like traveling. I like going to coastal areas, and that helps me to relax and recharge. Find that, whatever that is for you, and do it often.
Very good. Very good. That's a really good point. And, it's a wonderful way to segue when you mentioned limit our screen time, because this show, we're going to get to the point today. And limit our screen time. We're going to set the example. But before we do, I want Ebony to jump in and give us any advice as someone who works in insurance. If you don't have insurance, mental health coverage, Ebony, what, from your perspective, can you help folks with or give them to advise them? Some advice.
Of the U.S. high
Can you
school
listen to this?
girls reported feeling persistent sadness and hopelessness. They surveyed 17,000 students in the U.S. And 30 years, it says, of collecting similar data, we've never seen the kind of devastating, consistent findings. Our youth, ladies and gentlemen, telling us that there's a crisis going on. The levels of suicidal thought has never, ever, ever been higher. Some of us know, as well as you know, why that level is higher than it's ever been before. Because 30 or 40 years ago, we didn't have what we have now. I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about every one of our kids from about 4 years and up with a cell phone. And let me tell you, social media has caused or is a big contributor to hopelessness among our youth. Let me read this. Social media is increasingly violent towards our women and our girls, treating them like objects and forcing them to compete in terms of very, very shallow characteristics. Now, how they look like and what their body is formed and shaped like. And it encourages our young men to treat them like objects, which is most unfortunate. 30% of the girls and 60% of the boys they surveyed have considered suicide. Now, let me just say this, for those of us who are parents, we must pay attention to our children's moods, activities, their friends, and understand what may not be a big deal to us is a big deal to them. They don't always tell you, but stuff happens. If you also watch the news, the young man who shot up several students in Michigan State was okay, according to his father, but when he lost his mother 2 years ago, he snapped. His father used the term, he became evil. And certainly we know that anybody can be faced with issues. So I'm going to, and I told Ray this, I didn't know it at the time he asked me, but I have a very appropriate, very apropos poem called We Must Tell Our Sons and Daughters that I'd love to share with you. I've written it many years ago, and I've spoken to many people, places, colleges, et cetera, and this is how it goes. It says, we must tell our sons and daughters who they really are, for they are an unrepeatable gift to this universe. They are blessed and highly favored, born God's original, and never must they allow someone to make them over. Let us tell our sons and daughters that someone else's opinion of them, does not have to become their reality. And let us remind them to be careful of the company they keep. Why? Because who you run with says who you are. If you run with losers, you'll end up a loser. Why? Birds of a feather flock together. You cannot soar like an eagle if you're running around with pigeons. Let us tell our sons and daughters, as they begin to fly high in life, there will always be those who will stand on their wings and attempt to ground them. Let us tell them to be not grounded. And let us tell them to be careful of the company they keep, that they must surround themselves with people who are planted, who are trying to grow, who are not just going through life, but growing through life. Because an ounce of example is worth a pound of advice. And in their curious years, when they begin to scratch that inevitable itch, let us tell our sons and daughters that kisses are not contracts, promises are not presents, and sex is a very poor substitute for love. But if somehow one of our sons and daughters get knocked up or knocked out in life, let us tell our sons and daughters, if you get knocked down in life, try and look up. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Let us tell our sons, thank you. Let us tell our wide is the road that leadeth to destruction, but narrow the one that leads to life. But few there be who will ever find it. You know why? Because few there be who understand. As we pray for strength,
what can people do? I thought he was finished off. My apologies. I heard the clapping. But what can people do if they don't have health insurance? There are a number of things that you can do. It's difficult because in our area, the access to mental health treatment is slim. So when you don't have insurance, it makes it even slimmer. One of the things that you can do is call 7 Dimensions Outreach or call DSS or go on their website and apply for Medicaid. Okay, if you don't have any money, you can apply for Medicaid. And the reason why I have mentioned calling 7 Dimensions is because we're able to help a person do something called spin down, Medicaid spin down. And what happens in South Carolina, because they did not expand our Medicaid services, is that individuals who make just a little bit too much for Medicaid are denied. But if you do Medicaid spin down, what happens is it allows you to deduct certain expenses and claim that. That means that if a person made $3,000 a month, but they have this bill, that bill, they can actually lower their income based on bills that they have to pay. In general, DSS or DHHS is too overwhelmed to even share the information on how to do it. But that is one of the things that we can help people get, to get them some type of insurance in place until they're financially able to do so. From there, you just basically schedule an appointment or a referral appointment with a mental health specialist from there. But keep in mind, even if you can't get insurance, you could even talk with certain providers that are willing to bill to make the payments cash price, which means that it's less pricier than their regular prices. So you really just have to ask, families have to advocate for their family members. You know, that's what I have to say to that in general about that question, Marilyn.
You're muted, Miss Marilyn. But thank you for that, Ebony. This is the first I've ever heard of Medicaid spin down. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and that's the kind of information I wanted from you and Deontay, from that clinical aspect, and you, Ebony, from the service aspect. So folks can know that there are a lot of resources out there for help with and without insurance. That, you know, don't let this go, folks, that you may be suffering mental health issue. It could be something minor, and it could something bigger than that. You know, everybody has a sad day. You know, everybody has depression every once in a while or continuously. I mean, it's extremes, but if you feel that you're just not 100%, seek help. That's the bottom line. Seek help. And I'm asking both of you, there was the 3-digit number that was launched in 2022 for mental health. I think it's 811. Is that the number? Am I correct on that?
I'm unsure.
All right. There is a 3-digit number that I just, you could Google it. That you can dial.
988.
Say that again.
988.
988. Thank you. That's what it is. 988, folks. If you feel that you need to talk to someone, you can dial 988, and they'll talk to you and they'll give you some help. So we wanted to make sure that we shared that with everyone. Thank you, Deontay. I knew you would know it.
and I'd like to share one more thing, Miss Marilyn. I know we got to move
Sure.
on, but and this is an easy thing to do. Something that we can affect positive change in immediately. Think positive thoughts. And I know that's something that may seem just simple, but it's very helpful, because what we don't realize is that our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors are all interconnected. So when we think more positively about a subject or an event or even a person, then we begin to feel differently about that situation, and we can then behave or act differently as it relates to that subject. So think positive thoughts instead of focusing on the negative. Focus on the positive, and that's a starting point for that everyone can do
Very
right now.
good. Thank you very much for Deontay. And Ebony is saying they're talking about voting out there. I see that's presiding Elder Drayton out there talking on the stage about voting. You guys, we're always going to remind you, get registered to vote, and what else? Get engaged. Show up for your city, county council meetings. Show up for your planning commission meetings. Show up for your school board meetings. And there's Bruno! That's Bruno. Hey, Bruno. And if that's not a positive vision and a positive thought, to see Bruno right there.
So the community goat had gotten loose, so it was running around. She was running after it. That's why she went running that way.
Bruno made an escape. Well, y'all, we can't beat that as we move on. I think that's time to wrap this show, because we can't beat the goat escaping and people running around chasing the goat. But that made me feel better, knowing that goat was trying to escape, seeking his freedom. But y'all, it's been good. Deontay, thank you for joining and hopping in today. Ebony, thank you for going live. Good job, because it's a beautiful day, a little cool out there, but that's just right. And I'm going to come out there for a few minutes also and tell Bruno, get back in that cage, and to thank Bruno for giving us the
Black History Month. Bruno said he want to be free.
We don't know about Bruno. See you later, Ebony. Deontay, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us today. And we want to remind everybody, we bring Spotlight every Saturday, usually at 11 a.m. But we had a special event today that we wanted to cop in and showcase for Black History Month and our mental health. But we want you to come on out and join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I think, too. But anywhere you find Georgetown NAACP Branch number 5520, I want to say thank you to our new president, Deontay Winchester, and we look forward to continuing the work with the community. Thank you, Deontay.
Thank you. As always, we love you all. Continue to love yourselves.
Have a great day.